This is not just a tragedy, it's a real disaster and a crime committed by the pilot of Germanwings Flight 9525. The world would soon learn the shocking truth. March 24, 2015. Barcelona El Prat Airport, an ordinary morning. Germanwings Flight 9525, an Airbus A320, prepares for a routine journey to Düsseldorf. On board, 150 people, passengers and crew, unaware of the fate awaiting them. Among them, students returning from an exchange, families on holiday, business travelers and artists. For all, it was just another flight, a brief routine crossing above Europe. The flight departed. The sky was calm. For 20 minutes, nothing seemed amiss. Then the captain left the cockpit, the door locked behind him. The descent began, silent, controlled, and unauthorized. Air traffic controllers called in vain. The captain pounded on the door. Inside, the controls were set for disaster. The world watched, helpless, as the plane plunged toward the mountains. The crash left devastation in its wake. This was not an accident, but a deliberate act. A crime that exposed a dark vulnerability in aviation and left a scar that will never heal. This is the haunting story of Germanwings Flight 9525. March 24, 2015. Germanwings Flight 9525 departs Barcelona for Düsseldorf. 150 souls on board. Routine, ordinary, uneventful. Or so it seemed. Mid-flight, the captain leaves the cockpit. Standard procedure. Moments later, the first officer locks the reinforced door. From the inside, outside, frantic knocking. Inside, chilling silence. Controllers watch in horror. The Airbus begins a steady descent. Calls flood the radio. No response. The plane heads straight for the French Alps. At 10:41 a.m., the silence is broken by a devastating impact. The aircraft is shattered. The world stunned. No survivors. In the treacherous terrain of the French Alps, a painstaking search was underway for the two most crucial pieces of evidence: the aircraft's black boxes. The first to be found was the cockpit voice recorder, its casing battered but intact. Its contents would provide the first horrifying glimpse into the final moments of Flight 9525. Days later, the flight data recorder was also recovered. Together, these devices held the key to unlocking a truth far more disturbing than anyone could have imagined. The black box tells the story, and the story it told was chilling. The initial analysis of the cockpit voice recorder revealed a routine flight. The two pilots are heard in casual conversation. Then the captain leaves the cockpit, the door closes, and a click is heard, the sound of the lock engaging. From that moment on, First Officer Andreas Lubitz is alone at the controls. He says nothing. The only sound is his calm, steady breathing. All air traffic controllers try to make contact, but their calls go unanswered. Soon a new sound emerges, the captain banging on the door, pleading, then shouting to be let back in. The sound becomes more frantic as he tries to break the door down. Inside, Lubitz remains silent. Alarms blare, warning of the terrain proximity. The passengers' screams are the last sounds heard before the recording abruptly ends. The flight data recorder corroborated the CVR's terrifying narrative with cold, hard data. The first officer set the autopilot to descent. The data showed that moments after the captain left, someone in the cockpit manually changed the autopilot's altitude setting from 38,000 feet down to just 100 feet. Over the next 8 minutes, the system was repeatedly adjusted to increase the aircraft's speed as it plunged towards the mountains below. There was no mechanical failure. The inputs were deliberate, precise and sustained. The evidence was irrefutable. This was not an accident. It was a mass murder-suicide orchestrated by Andreas Lubitz. The investigation turned to his personal life, uncovering a history of severe depression and suicidal tendencies he had actively concealed from his employer. He feared his medical issues would end his flying career. In his apartment, investigators found torn-up sick notes from doctors declaring him unfit to work on the day of the crash. He wanted the world to end for everyone on board. Forensic evidence confirms it. A deliberate act of unimaginable cruelty. A deliberate act of mass murder. Its legacy, a haunting question of why and grief carved into the mountainside. This is Mystery Flights. But in the world of flight, this tragedy is only one shadow among many. Across continents and decades, the skies have witnessed vanishings, sabotage and riddles that remain unsolved. What secrets still drift above us, hidden in the clouds? Join us next time as Mystery Flights unearths another chilling story from the annals of aviation. Subscribe and stay vigilant, because in the sky, the next mystery could be just one flight away.